In today's video, I'm gonna show you where I would begin if I had to start my wardrobe from scratch, and I'm gonna tell you how I've been able to refine my style after getting into fashion about 5 years ago, and now that I'm a bit more serious, I'm gonna show you how to refine it. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Drew. What it do? It's nice to meet you. This is your ultimate guide to starting and/or refining your wardrobe. So behind me is my mobile wardrobe. You can see it right there. And I purchased it on Amazon. I'm gonna clear it off. I had to reshoot the intro, so that's the TLDR about why it's full of clothes right here. But I want the mobile wardrobe to serve as a bit of a visual guide, a visual aid to help you understand how easy it is to build a stylish, cool, good-looking wardrobe with the 10 essential items that I plan to highlight for the beginner's guide for this video. With the 10 items that I plan to highlight in this video, you will be able to easily, and I do mean easily, make at least 25 outfits from these 10 items, if not more, and you'll have a great starting off or base point for your personal style. For me, the most exciting aspect of any outfit has to be the shoes. In my left hand, I have a pair of the GH Bass Weejan suede lug sole loafers. Yes, there is a tie clip on there. Do we know why? No. Does it matter? No, it's not relevant to this video. It's just where I put my tie clip from time to time. In my right hand, these are a pair of Collegium Pillar Court Low 2s in this beautiful goldenrod colorway, one of my favorite pair of leather sneakers. And I want to explain to you why I think each of these pairs is vital for starting from scratch, is vital for a starter capsule kind of wardrobe. To me, both of these represent one, a leather sneaker, a shoe that you can wear pretty much every day with a ton of different outfits that's more casual, that is a sneaker, and the second item being a more formal pair of loafers, right? Whether it be a lug sole loafer, whether it be a penny loafer, whether it be a tassel loafer, it doesn't really matter, but these two represent casual and formal attire in its most simplest form, in my opinion. And when I talk about casual, for the sneakers, this is something that you can wear essentially every single day, whatever your day-to-day tasks are. If you're hanging out with friends, if you have school, if you have work, whatever it may be, if you're in an office, this is like your casual Friday. Like, I wanna be able to wear these sneakers for casual Friday and still look really good with them, or just wearing them day-to-day with whatever day-to-day tasks that you have. The loafers represent your foray into being a bit more formal with your outfits. Not something that's gonna be super elegant or super over the top, but something that says, hey, like, I care about my style, I care about looking presentable, I care about just taking things a bit of a notch higher versus the sneakers. Now, if you aren't a fan of the GH Bass loafers or the Collegium Pillar Court Lows 2, you can replace them very easily, and here are some of my favorite recommendations for the sneaker and the loafer. If you don't like the GH Bass suede lug sole loafers, you can go with something like the Doc Martin Adrian loafers, Solavere's tassel loafers, Morehous's penny loafers, and just all of Morehous's line. I love what Morehouse does. There's Blackstock and Weber, there's Allen Edmonds, and I also would recommend the brand Sebago. All of these brands, they're gonna have varying price ranges. Doc Martens is probably going to be the cheapest of the bunch, so is GH Bass, but as you kind of move up that price range and you're beginning to flirt with the idea that you're going to spend a little bit more money on loafers, that's when you start to see how quality, craftsmanship, and all these things play into helping making a shoe look not only beautiful, but feel really good on the feet. If you're starting out, you don't necessarily need to go with the most expensive bib. Doc Martens, GH Bass, they'll get the job done. And I feel like if you're younger, or if you're not younger, if you're just young in fashion and you're starting out and you want to improve your style, these will really just help make your outfits feel more formal. That's the entire thing. And you can wear them in a very casual way too as well. If you wear these casually, it's gonna look good. People are gonna take notice, you're gonna take notice, and you're gonna start feeling better about your personal style. Trust me on that. Now, for leather sneakers or other just great entry-level sneakers, I would say that you can start with the Adidas Samba. Those are incredibly popular right now. The New Balance 990 V6, Chuck 70s, Adidas Gazelles, Nike Vomeros, Nike Blazers, and as someone who grew up in Colorado, grew up in the West Coast of the United States, or grew up in the West of the United States, I would say something like the Vans Skate High are a great pair of non-sneakers sneakers that are good for entry level. Now obviously, like, these shoes represent the beginnings of beginnings for a fashion enthusiast or for a fashion MF. Obviously there are other types of shoes like these guys right here that are going to maybe bring a bit more attention to your outfit because they have that history, they have that luster, they have that shine to them because they're a really specialized pair of shoes. But something like this is not timeless in a sense, but it's just more wearable for longer periods of time. And you can't go wrong with just a classic, good leather shoe, leather sneaker at that. Sometimes it bothers me when people say you can't go wrong with this, but you can go wrong with it, right? You can go wrong. It's more so about like, if you style this in the correct way, it'll look very, very nice. And it's a great entry point into styling footwear with whatever outfit you decide to wear. And so, like I said, we're gonna fill up our mobile wardrobe with these first two pair of shoes. We're gonna put the sneakers on the top shelf right there. We'll put the Weejuns on this middle shelf. Maybe I'll place them this way so that they're easier to see. I don't even know if you guys can see me right now. Boom! Doesn't have to be a lug sole loafer, doesn't have to be a suede and leather sneaker, doesn't have to be yellow. All that stuff is up to you. That's personal taste, that's personal style. This is what I have right now in my wardrobe, in my collection, so this is what I showed you guys. Now, for every good pair of shoes, you need a good pair of pants to accentuate that style of footwear, to help bring everything together. Right now, you can't see my feet, but when good pants are paired with good shoes, your outfit just goes a little bit of a notch higher in terms of like how you personally feel about it and how it's perceived by other people. Now, if I had to start over from the beginning, because we're sticking with 10 items, I would start with 3 essential types of pants that would get me started to have my wardrobe, to have my style feeling better. And those 3 essential pairs of jeans would be 1 light wash pair of denim, 1 dark wash pair of denim, and 1 more formal pair of trousers. Because these are going to be a bit more difficult to hold throughout the entirety of this section, I'm going to place them on the mobile wardrobe now. We're going to put these on the wardrobe now. Starting off with the dark wash pair of denim jeans that I have. This pair right here, if you're not new to my channel, you know about these jeans very, very well. These are a pair of sugarcane Okinawa denim jeans. They are a more straight, relaxed fit, and I love these jeans. And when you're starting out, you don't have to necessarily go as hard on a pair of jeans like I have with this pair, but this is a perfect example of a pair of jeans that I think is a great example of how, if you like this kind of fit, if you like this kind of cut, these are a great example of a darker, more indigo, dark blue, or you can go with black pair of denim jeans. Something to note, for all of these jeans, the fit and the form of the jeans, how they fit down the leg, if they're wider, if they're skinnier, if they're more tapered, that is all personal preference. I'm not gonna sit here and dictate that you need to have a wide pair of jeans or a baggy pair of jeans or a skinny or a tapered pair of jeans. It all comes down to what you like as an individual, which is the important part about starting your wardrobe. It's about understanding and discovering what you enjoy. And it also comes down to what fits your body type the best, right? This is where people get fashion all twisted. You can't just put every single item or every single silhouette of a piece of clothing on every single body type and it'll work. It can work. I'm not saying that it won't work. It can work, but in reality, what you need to do is you need to find what you enjoy, and in doing so, your clothes will fit and feel that much better. That is the example that I'm gonna show for the dark wash pair of jeans. If the sugarcane Okinawas are too high of a price point for an entry leveler, which I understand they probably are, I would start over with something like a pair of Levi's. A dark wash pair of Levi's 501s or 517s or 505s or whatever cut or preference that you like the most. I think Levi's, and for all of the denim that I show, Levi's is a great entry-level entry point for beginners. Next, for the light wash pair of jeans, these are bare knuckles, wide fitting, light wash denim jeans. And for these, once again, you can go with something like a pair of Levi's. To me, light wash denim looks really good, really casually good, if that makes sense. It's more of like a casual look. Looks really good with leather sneakers, and it looks good with the loafers, depending on what kind of look you're going for, depending on if you want to bell it up or bell it down or make it seem more simple, if that makes sense. And the thing I love about Levi's is that, for one, here in the US, it's relatively easy to get Levi's. If you're outside the US, then there are other brands that I'll add to the screen that I think that are worth maybe checking out. But the thing about Levi's is that they're brand recognizable. A lot of people know what Levi's are. Levi's has a trusted name, so they definitely know how to make jeans for tons of different body types. And typically when it comes to price point on Levi's, you can buy them secondhand, which is awesome, but you can also find them for under $100, under $50, depending on where you're looking, depending on where you're buying them from, which is awesome. So light wash jeans, dark wash jeans, those look really good. Okay, last but not least, the trousers serve as a formal pair of pants to be paired with your loafers or with other formal items of footwear. For me, I decided to go with this Todd Snyder Officer's Herringbone pair of trousers. And the reason why I went with this pair and not maybe like a black trouser or more kind of simple looking trousers, because I thought that this would pair more nicely with the GH Basses that I currently have in my wardrobe, which is an important distinction. It's a very important distinction. Let me tell you why. Because your clothes should fit your aesthetic. They should fit your lifestyle. They should fit your personal interests. I keep going back to this. And it's important to realize that, because if I just put on a black pair of trousers, which I have, and I'm talking about entry-level loafers and entry-level pants, it doesn't really, for me, it doesn't really go as well. I'm not really sure if these go that well with the GH Basses, to be honest, but I think they do, because they just, brown and browns probably go, like they flow together pretty nicely. But altogether, this is a really interesting pair of trousers. I wouldn't call this pair entry-level. I would say that if I were to tell someone who's just getting into fashion what they should get, I would go with something that is a single color that is more solid. I would get a navy, I would get a black, I would get maybe even a gray pair of formal trousers, pleated trousers, maybe even straight fitting trousers, something that looks really clean and really clear and really crisp, and that can be worn and dolled up and be dressed up for a more semi-formal, formal event. Once again, the preference of the fit of the jeans that you wear is all up to you. What you decide to wear is based on what you like, which is what makes fashion fun. At least it does in my opinion. Next, if I had to start over with tops, I would make sure to have these three versions of tops. First being some sort of button-down shirt. This is gonna be the more formal option for when I'm going out, doing things, going on dates, doing something that just requires a bit more of emphasis on trying to look the best that I possibly can from a formality standpoint. The next two are gonna be more casual shirts. For what I have in my closet, I opted for two cropped variants of just plain t-shirts. The two tees that I have are from Owen Hyatt Somar. They're just cropped, kind of distressed on the stitch lines tees that they made, and they've made for pretty much every spring and every summer. I love these tees. When it comes to starting out or building your wardrobe, simple items like this are just great for that. You don't want to overlook the simple tees. And I would even go as far to say, because we're not talking about undergarments, I would also have a good set of underwear and a good set, if you're a guy, of wife pleasers, and if you're a girl, I would have a good set of bras or just undergarments that just fit you and feel nice, and they aren't going to add extra uncomfort or discomfort to your outfit, but also just add a little bit of extra presence to the clothes that you're already wearing as your outer garments or your overgarments, right? The advice I would give if you're starting out is I would just start simple. This is black, this is cream. It looks white, but this is just black and cream. If you like graphic tees, you probably already have a ton of graphic tees or a ton of t-shirts in your closet. I would still go with simple and then work your way to refining to being more complicated. One of the #1 lessons that I learned from playing basketball is that you want to learn the fundamentals, and not only do you want to learn the fundamentals, you want to master the fundamentals. And I try to take that mindset into how I kind of approach fashion. Basics, like t-shirts, like pants, like all the items that I showcase, like shoes, you want to master the fundamentals when it comes to these items. And as you begin to master the fundamentals, then you can start working on your Allen Iverson crossover, or then you can start working on your Lionel Messi, like crazy moves for sports references. I'm a sports guy, so I have sports references. But then going from basic to going to more advanced or going to more complex, you want to start with basic, master the basics, and then move your way up towards the more complex. That's all I'm trying to say. You get me, right? You get me. And when it comes to the more formal tee, I didn't really touch on this too much, but I think it's just nice to have a simple button down, a collared tee, something that you can just wear. Like you wear it as a layering piece. Like I'm wearing one right now as, it's not a button down, but you kind of have, it gets the same effect. I'm wearing one right now under this blazer that I'm wearing, and it just looks clean. It looks like I cared enough to make this video for you guys, which I did. So if you like it so far, like and subscribe, it would mean a lot. Yeah, this is the type of top that I wear on like date nights. This is the type of top that I wear when I'm need to be and wear something that's a little bit more formal, but this isn't like a black tie event type of shirt. This is just a more like going to an art gallery, or I'm going on a date. I don't know, like, you know, let's elevate our fits when we go on dates, fellas. Like let's do something a little bit more than just a hoodie, okay? We can do that. We can do that. We can look good in the process, and you'll feel good, and your date will be like,
oh, he look good. Like, he look good. I like him.
I don't know what I was imitating there, so no offense to anyone, okay? Just relax. This is how our mobile wardrobe is coming along. It looks pretty good. Obviously you can't see from the camera. I had to put B-roll because this camera, you know, it's got a mind of its own, but I think everything's coming along pretty well. You can kind of see how many outfits we can create with this, and this is like just the beginning. This is the basics of starting out with your new wardrobe. All right, to round off our 10 item list, we have jackets or outerwear. Now I know we're heading into the spring and the summer, but I still think it's important to have good looking jackets for the fall and the winter, and to have just nice spring jackets as well. And so in my right hand, this is the more casual. As you can see, we have a theme going on. And in my left hand, we have the more formal. We're gonna start with the more casual and talk about why I decided to choose this as an essential item for 10 items in your wardrobe. This jacket is Story MFG's Tuesday jacket. It is essentially a Levi's Type 2 jacket that Story MFG repurposed, remade. It's a handloom. I'm not saying with this item in particular that you need to get this jacket. This jacket is definitely a more refined, higher level, not so entry level type of jacket. But the archetype or the just style of this jacket, being a Levi's Type 2, being a denim jacket that wears and looks good with so many different versions of outfits, I wanted to highlight this piece in particular because it fits into that mold. Not this specific jacket, but any type of denim jacket, Type 2 jacket, Type 1 jacket, any type of denim jacket like this is going to be great for starting out for more casual looks when you want to do a little bit of light layering, which is a bit of a more advanced thing to do when you're into fashion. I feel like layering shows and denotes a bit of care and attention to detail. But if you start to care about fashion, I think light layering is a great way to begin to kind of have your outfits feel a bit more special. Not to the world, but maybe just to yourself and maybe to the world too. So like I said, you don't need the Story MFG jacket. Any type of Levi's or denim jacket, it can even be Lee or whatever, you know, suits your fancy, whatever you like the most when it comes to jackets, whether it's denim or not denim or light jackets or whatever it may be. Find out what you like, and then I would start with something like this. My recommendation, if I was recommending to anyone who wants to be a part of the Drew Joyner clan, the Drew Joyner ideology of fashion, I would get some sort of denim jacket, right? That's where I would start for my more casual jacket that's light, that can be layered over in the spring. If it's like Sherpa lined or has lining to it, then it's for the winter or the fall. This is a bit lighter because it has no lining. It's a pretty airy garment, honestly. I'm really excited to wear this in the spring. So, but this is, you know, this is Story MFG. If you know anything about Story MFG, great for sustainability. They have a bit of an elevated price point. And so on the flip side of things, like I said, we have our more formal jacket. Now this is Orslow's, I don't know why I said it like that, Orslow's? This is Orslow's Harris tweed blazer. It's a much more kind of informal, formal type of blazer. You can tell by just the size of the lapels and just the oversized nature of this jacket. You can just tell it's definitely a more semi-formal than like ultra formal type of jacket. But because it's wool, because it's Harris tweed, and because it's just this absolutely beautiful brown, just beautiful jacket, it serves its purpose as an entry-level garment. You don't need to go with Orslow once again, because Orslow is going to be a bit more elevated in price point, and that's just what I have in my closet right now. I'm no longer in the entry-level phase, so I'm kind of working backwards. I'm working in regression, but I still think that something like this, whether you find it at the thrift, whether you find a blazer that is silk, or even if it's polyester of some sort, like having a blazer or a top jacket or an overcoat, something of the sort, a long jacket, a long coat, these kind of things, as you've seen probably on Instagram, or if you start paying attention to fashion a little bit more, these type of jackets for both menswear and women's wear, they serve to just bring a bit of an extra oomph to an outfit, and I keep using this kind of like non-English language, these more kind of feeling type of words to symbolize what fashion kind of feels and is, because I think for a lot of people, it's hard to talk about the art form that is fashion without getting a little bit emotionally involved. And so this piece for me is something that I feel very strongly about emotionally. It feels and it just is beautiful. But for you, there might be another piece out there, whether it be a long coat, a pea coat, whether it be even in some type of like a Detroit jacket or a Harrington jacket or something like that, could also work for you if you don't necessarily want to spend the money on something or go this route stylistically. So whatever that is for you, have something that's a bit more formal and a bit more casual. Both of these are collar tops. I like collar tops. It can be, obviously I'm wearing one right now, that can be worn pretty formally or casually, but these are two great options for essentials for starting out with your wardrobe. And with that, bada bing, bada boom. This is where I would begin if I had to start over with my wardrobe, right? I would pay, maybe $30 to $70 on the pants. I would pay maybe $50 to $100 on each individual item of shoes, which, these things, they're not gonna happen over time. You don't have to spend a ton of money to get all of this stuff at one time. You can take your time on it. And then I would pay a little bit of money to get a nice collared button down. Simple tees, you can crop your own tees or find white tees at thrift stores, vintage stores super easily. So this is maybe 10 to 20 bucks. And then something like a denim jacket or a blazer of the sort, you can either find that secondhand, or if you search diligently, you can find deals on those. So depending on what it could be, $50 to $100 as well. This is how I would start over again if I need to start from scratch for my wardrobe. And to prove it to you that these items can be styled and look tastefully, I'm gonna show you 5 outfits. Let me know what you think about my kind of quote unquote capsule wardrobe, my beginner's guide to creating the ultimate wardrobe. This is where I would begin. Roll the clips, roll the B-roll. I think it looks pretty good, some of these outfits. So as promised, I want to show you or tell you about how to refine your style if you feel like you're more into fashion, you've been into fashion for a little bit more time, and you want to kind of take your personal style to the next level and just have more fun with fashion. That's what I try to do. I just try to have fun with fashion. Let me actually grab a chair because I don't need to be standing up for the rest of this video. We can kind of do this a little bit different now. What do you guys think about the format of this video so far? You like it? Decent? We doing all right? I've never really made a video like this, so I'm curious. All right, the more I learned about fashion and good style, the more I realized that the details really, really matter. And the number one detail that you have to nail in order to really refine or begin refining your style is knowing and nailing the fit of the items of clothing that you decide to decorate your body with. I always use that term, decorate your body with, or I could just say like you have to nail the fit of the clothes you decide to wear. That's what I mean by that. In my opinion, your clothes need to fit and move on your body based on your height, your weight, your width, whatever you may be in terms of body measurement. Your clothes need to fit and move to your body in the best way that they possibly can. And once they do that, that will show a level of intentionality and refinement with your personal style. That's what I would consider to be like the number one detail. The number two detail is that accessories help make good outfits into great outfits. And that's something that I feel like a lot of people have picked up on because of just how ubiquitous fashion social media is and how people are talking about and showcasing their outfits. The difference between an outfit that is viral on TikTok or an outfit that is viral on Instagram Reels compared to an outfit that doesn't get as much attention or doesn't get as much praise, it's all in the details. It's all in the accessories that an individual decides to add to that outfit to make it feel a bit more elegant or elaborate or detail or crazy, whatever the descriptor word you want to use is. And it can be as large as adding details like hats and jewelry, to as small as belts and rings and bows and all the different things that people use today to accessorize their outfits with. Even the denim keychain that I have on my waistband is a form of accessorizing, a form of personality building for my outfits. If you want me to talk more in depth about accessories or the details of an outfit or finding fit, I've done so in a lot of my videos, but if there's anything you want me to kind of hone in on, let me know, and we can have that video made very, very easily if you guys want it. Now, really quickly, I'm gonna show you 3 pieces that I think that have helped refine my style. These 3 pieces are pieces that are, one of them is relatively new, some of them are not so relatively new. In fact, I can even show you like this belt right here is an example of like refinement. I don't even know if the camera will catch this because it doesn't have a face to focus on. But this belt is an example of refinement. But I want to show you 3 more pieces that I think are good examples of me trying to refine my style. Is this pair of Gucci 1953 horse bit loafers. Now, when we're comparing these loafers to these loafers, there's going to be a difference. The GH Basses with the tie clip on it to the Gucci's with the shoe trees inside, because I want to make sure that the leather is pristine, you know what I mean? That rhymed. Pristine, you know what I mean? These, for me, are just a notch up, and the reason why I decided to purchase these and the reason why I got these is because I wanted to have a pair of loafers that, for one, have a distinct heritage to them. The 1953s are an iconic pair of Gucci loafers. Some might say that they're incredibly overpriced for what you get. I bought them secondhand. The rules of entry-level fashion apply to more refined fashion as well. If you can buy things secondhand, you can get a better deal on them. Money is something that we all have to consider when it comes to clothing and fashion and whatnot. And so this is one of those examples where I wanted something that is, for me, has heritage and looks really beautiful and elegant. And to me, it symbolizes a level of refinement if I wear this in an outfit. Next item I would talk about when it comes to refinement is, and I didn't talk about bags at all. Bags are a great way to add functionality to your outfit, but they're also a great way to add a bit of aesthetics to an outfit. And I love when you get like a 2-for-1 special like that. So this is the Frismworks larger canvas tote bag. It has a zipper on top, which I think is like huge in New York City to have a bag this large that zips. I take this out with me literally every single day wherever I'm going somewhere, because it's nice to be able to have a bag, has gum in it, has a map of like different parks and things in it. It's just a fantastic bag function and fashionable thing that just adds a touch of intentionality and refinement. For me, refining your style is all about intentionality. How intentional can you be with your style, right? Like, I don't know why I'm talking like I'm lecturing to you guys, but we're homies. Like, I get passionate about this. But like, refining a word? Refining your style, for me, looks like this Frismworks bag. And we'll stop talking about the Frismworks bag with that. Last but not least, one of the examples of refinement for me is, I'm not a huge jewelry person. I'm not that big of a jewelry person, but recently had the opportunity to pick up this ring. So this ring right here is bare knuckles silver, recycled silver ring. Just dropped it on the ground. When you look at this ring now with this outfit that I currently have on, I think it just adds, once again, that word refinement, details. It adds a bit of intentionality to this entire outfit. I wouldn't say that what I'm wearing right now is that formal, but it's also not casual. It sits somewhere in between. And when I add something like a ring to my finger, I think it also helps kind of add intrigue to the entirety of the outfit. These 3 items, I would say, are examples of me attempting to refine my style. You might be eons beyond my current level of refinement. You might have tons of rings. You might have earrings. I don't have my ears pierced. You might have tattoos. You might have different hairstyles that refine your style. All these things can help do that, but you have to remind yourself that what really matters to you as an individual won't matter to everyone else. And this is what matters to me, and this is what I like doing. This is how I enjoy fashion. Okay, so the last thing we'll touch on when it comes to refining your style that I think I want to emphasize, and even though I said something kind of contradictory about it before, is that refining your style is not as much about spending more money on clothes and more so about learning what you like, what your personality is within fashion. That's the way I view refinement. And even though as a beginner, you have to kind of begin to understand what you like. In the beginning, you kind of just follow what people tell you, right? You see something, you buy the thing because it's the thing that an influencer or a celebrity or a tastemaker says that you should have, or someone that you're a fan of has. But as you kind of begin to climb the notches of what it means to have true personal style, your personality is what seeps through the cracks and becomes what makes your unique flair, your unique taste in fashion different from other people around you. Other things that are refining your style, tailoring is a great way to refine your style. Watching videos and watching content and reading magazines and reading books about fashion is refining your style. All the things that pool into you having a greater fashion knowledge is refinement of your personal style. Even if you can't act on purchasing or buying pieces that are quote unquote better, even if they're more expensive, that they're better, whatever that may be, learning and being a student of life and being a student of fashion is a form of refinement for your personal style. So even sticking to the end of this video and watching is a form of refining your style. Now, let's not get it twisted. Fashion is a material thing, but don't let money be the thing that gets in the way of you liking or enjoying or engaging in fashion. Obviously, there's pieces of clothing that I've seen and I've wanted and just can't afford. There's pieces that are there's gonna be things like that that happen to you. It happens to all of us. We look at something and it's $1,000 or $500 or $200 and we're like, there's no way I wanna spend the money on that, right? And I get that. But refinement and improving your style is about finding ways to still have fun with fashion and find ways to engage in fashion without having to spend hundreds of thousands of dollars or thousands of dollars, whatever that may be, right? I hope this video helped you guys a little bit. This was a fun video to make. Let me know what your thoughts are down in the comments. I'm very eager to hear. As always, I'm spreading peace, love, and positivity in 2024. So that means I'm spreading peace, love, and positivity to you and more. Wherever you are in the world, have a wonderful rest of your day. Abianto. Peace. Peace with the peace ring too, with the peace ring. Peace. Yo, what is good? Post vid. Here's a fist bump for the one time. Bah! Thank you so much for staying to the end of the video. Lauren told me that if I do the fist bump for the PVV, I should have the ring the other way so that we get a peace fist bump. Bah! I appreciate you guys so much for staying to the end of the video. It means so much to me. This was a fun video idea that was suggested to me by one of you guys, which is awesome. I love when that happens. I probably should put that at the introduction of this video, that this was suggested by one of you guys. I love getting shout outs or giving shout outs to the community. Now, for the post-vid question of the day, I wrote it down. The question is, have you ever eaten a Twinkie? My friends haven't, and neither has Lauren. They've never eaten a Twinkie. The friends that I have, the friends and the girlfriend that I have, how have they never eaten a Twinkie? Maybe it's just maybe it's just the most American thing about me. I've eaten Twinkies before, and I remember as a kid eating Twinkies and being like, yes, it's a Twinkie, let's go! Like I used to be excited about eating Twinkies. I haven't had one in a long time. Probably would upset my stomach now. But let me know, have you ever eaten a Twinkie? Hashtag PVV when you answer. Love you guys. Thank you for staying to the end of the video. I gotta get this one chopped up, and then we gotta get to the next video. Let's go.